Hello, Dr. McLean here. In this short video, I want to talk to you today about adrenal fatigue, or what some people call adrenal insufficiency. I want to talk about what might cause it, how do you know if you might have it, and then most importantly, what you can do about it. Now, adrenal fatigue or insufficiency is a huge issue, especially if you've got an autoimmune disease or an autoimmune disorder. The vast majority of people report having, that have autoimmune disorders, they report having some large stress prior to their disease triggering. Now, sometimes that can be a physical stress, but oftentimes it's an emotional stress like divorce or bankruptcy. So what is adrenal fatigue or adrenal insufficiency? It's basically when our adrenal glands sit on top of our kidneys, and it's basically when these glands are being overworked, they're constantly secreting the stress hormones and they become insufficient. Remember, all of your hormones are balanced with each other. So when there's certain opposing hormones, when one goes up, the other one goes down, and vice versa. So when you're constantly releasing these stress hormones, the other balancing hormones are going down. So what can cause this? Well, the problem here today is that we have high levels of stress on a long-term basis. So when we have what's called a fight or flight response, so if you see an angry-looking dog or a wild animal, or if you feel threatened, like somebody's gonna be in a fight with you, then we trigger this fight or flight response so we can get ready to either fight or flight. That's a good thing for a short term. It's designed to last literally a few minutes, not designed for last long term. So the challenge that we have today is that our brain does not know the difference between something real and something imagined. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say that you messed up at work yesterday and your boss said, we need to sit down and have a meeting tomorrow. Well, that night you're going to start to think about, your brain's going to start to think of the worst case scenarios. Now, the reason that our brain does that is to try to protect us, right? It is thinking it wants to keep you alive. So your brain's goal, number one, is to keep you alive. It's not looking at long-term health. Now, if all of your needs are met and everything's hunky-dory, then you can focus on long-term health. But your brain is thinking, I just need to stay alive first. So you start to think, well, I got to meet with my boss tomorrow. I wonder if I'm going to get fired. Is he going to yell at me? If I lose my job, am I going to lose my home or my apartment? Am I going to be homeless? Am I going to be out on the street? And you may not be consciously thinking about this, but it's going on below the surface. So now your body starts to release these stress hormones thinking, okay, we got to get ready for a fight here. Even though you know consciously you're not going to fight, again, your brain doesn't know the difference. So we're constantly stressed about what our friends said on Facebook or the stock market, or if our company is having issues that I might, again, lose my job or something like that. We're constantly releasing these stress hormones. So, or if you're in an unhappy marriage or an unhappy relationship, we're constantly releasing these stress hormones, and basically those areas can be fatigued. Now, how do you know if you might have a adrenal insufficiency or adrenal fatigue? The challenge with this is the symptoms can vary quite a bit to person, just like an autoimmune disease or an autoimmune disorder. It can mimic a lot of other diseases, but some things is where you feel really tired. Because remember, your body's getting ready for a fight or flight all the time. It's like you're working out all the time. And so you could feel really tired. Even if you get a bunch of sleep, you still wake up and you feel just tired. You can't ever catch up on your sleep. It can affect your ability to focus, and it can affect your memory. So that can be a big issue there as well. It can affect your ability to lose weight, and if you gain weight and then not able to lose it, what they call weight loss resistance. Again, these hormones are going, it's actually going to cause your body to try to store fat because it's thinking, we don't know what's going to happen. We better try to shut down trying to build muscle. We better store some fat because we don't know long-term what's going to happen with our health. So your body's doing the right thing for that situation. We just got to figure out what we can do to not have that situation. So we know some of those causes. You have to really look at your life and go, what might be triggering these stresses? And sometimes it's just low-level stresses. Every time you walk into your work, you're just a little bit anxious. It's not like a super high level, but you just feel uncomfortable. You just feel a little bit stressed all the time. So you want to think about those things in your daily life that might be causing this stress. Now let's also talk about some things non-emotional related that can cause these stress hormones to respond. Number one is caffeine. And this isn't necessarily in any particular order, but caffeine can be a trigger. Now, I love my coffee, so I know some of you are thinking, don't tell me not to drink my coffee. But if you're having this adrenal fatigue, caffeine causes our body to release cortisol. So if you're having this, you might have to either cut your coffee way back or maybe eliminate it for a short time, depending on your body, to allow those adrenals to recover. Now, there's going to be multiple things that you probably need to do, but caffeine might be one of those depending on who you are and how much you're drinking. I mean, I've had patients come in, they're drinking like pots of coffee a day. I'm like, your body can't handle that. So you can bring that down, because like I said, I love my coffee. It doesn't mean you have to totally give it up, but your body can't handle those high levels of stress all the time. High levels of caffeine, I'm sorry. Another thing is processed food. Now, processed food can be very stimulatory. Not all of it, but some of it has these hidden toxins and sugars and things like MSG, which are what's called neurotoxins and neuroexcitatory. So our body, again, can be constantly stimulated. These can cause the adrenals to burn out as well. Sugar is another one, which goes along with the processed foods. So you've really got to watch your sugar levels to bring those down. And again, overall processed foods. Now, another thing that goes along with processed foods very often is trans fats or damaged fats. Things like canola oil, these trans fats, these bad fats, and they're used to stabilize the food. Now, one thing I'll give you a little hint on this is you do have to watch when you read the labels. If you buy a package of processed food and it says trans fats or it says no trans fats, it can still have trans fats in it if it's less than, I believe it's 500 milligrams per serving. So you still got to read the actual label and look for these hydrogenated or trans fats. So those are some food things that you can look at doing. And the good thing is those go together. If you can start to decrease your processed foods, you're going to eliminate these excitatory and neurotoxins. You're going to eliminate or reduce some of these trans fats. And I really recommend if you can totally cut those out, again, at least for a period of time. I know that can be challenging, but you're going to get all these huge benefits. You're going to feel so much better. You're going to lose weight if you need to lose weight. Your energy is going to go up. You're going to sleep better, all these different things. So now let's also talk about some foods that you can introduce that are going to help you, again, support those adrenals. So we'll talk about foods and supplements. So foods that are high in vitamin B12. So you've got eggs, milk, dairy, meat, fish. Now the key with this, especially with meats and fish, they've got to be unprocessed. So you need wild fish or wild caught fish. The meat's got to be, I recommend grass-fed. Now organic's one step better, but organic doesn't necessarily mean grass-fed. Grass-fed cattle, for example, are not designed to eat grain, so it changes the fatty acid makeup in that meat. So you're eating that meat, is changing that makeup. So you want to do grass-fed, and I think meat is a great, great source for our diets. I don't think we should be meat-free necessarily, but you want to make sure it's a good source, okay? So foods that are high in vitamin B12 and magnesium, those are the ones that I just listed there. Things like grass-fed butters, well, good healthy fats. We want to eliminate the bad fats and bring in good healthy fats like coconut oil, like grass-fed butter. Again, we talked about lowering your caffeine or eliminating that temporarily. Coconut products, coconut oil, coconut butter, coconut milk, those are all real good things. They're healing for the gut, which is important as well. There's a gut-brain connection, but those are really good to help take the pressure off the adrenals. And again, think about it that way. You're not necessarily trying to, quote unquote, fix the adrenals. You're just trying to remove the pressure so your body can heal, like the tension and pressure on your body, so to speak. Now, there's some supplements that you can do as well, and you want to look at something called adaptogenic herbs. And what that means is it's going to help your body adapt better to the stress. It's not going to take the stress away, so you still got to work on handling that as well, but it's going to help bring those stress levels down. So there's two ones that come to mind is rhodiola, as well as ashwagandha. And ashwagandha you hear a lot about now in the news and the media, and that's a really good herb to take. And there's a lot of good supplements that you can take that can be combined in there, or you can just take an ashwagandha supplement as well. And then obviously one of the biggest things is to lower your stress levels. And two things I'd recommend on that. Number one is to have a good sleep routine. When we're not sleeping well, growth hormone is released when we have good deep sleep. And cortisol and growth hormone are opposing hormones, meaning when cortisol goes up, growth hormone goes down, and vice versa. When growth hormone goes up, cortisol goes down. So if you're getting good sleep, you're going to release that growth hormone, and it's going to bring that cortisol down, which is going to allow those adrenals to be able to relax. The other thing is obviously just improving your stress. So you've got to make a list of the things that are really stressing you in your life and start to make some tactics you can start to bring those things down. It doesn't have to happen overnight, but just start to make a list and start to move through that and move towards that, creating more peace in your life, which also includes make sure you're scheduling some time to actually have some fun. And this is something, silly as that sounds, that's something I need to do. I'm really a workaholic. I love what I do. But sometimes you need to take a break and just go do something fun to allow your mind to relax, just like you got to allow those adrenals to relax. And then exercise, the right forms of exercise can help burn off those stress hormones. As much as we try, we're probably still going to release some of these stress hormones. So if you can exercise, especially high intensity exercise, you can help burn off some of those stress hormones, get your body to be more relaxed. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have questions on it, please comment below and I'll do my best to answer that for you. Also, if you're enjoying this, please subscribe to my page and we'll continue to make some videos to help you with adrenal fatigue, to help you with autoimmune disorders and help heal your immune system. I've helped so many patients over the years, and I myself had huge immune system issues. So I know what to do, I know how it works, and what you have to do to get well. So we'd love to be able to reach out and help you as well.